Welcome to I Said No Gifts. I'm Bridger Winegar. We're here in the studio. Right up top, we're coming to Chicago, May 23rd, the Den Theater. May 23rd, did I already say that? Chicago. I've only been to Chicago once. You better treat me well. The last time it was not for a live show. This is for a live show, so I want to be treated with respect. A little respect. I want to have a nice evening with all of you. Go to thedentheater.com, I believe, or Google it, or Annalise, is this something we can put in the show notes?
Absolutely.
Annalise is on top of it. You can look in the show notes. You can probably go to our Instagram. There are so many ways you can shop online. So buy your tickets if they're still available. Buy a friend a ticket. Come to the show. What will be happening there? We'll have special guests. I'm going to bring some gifts from... You never know what I'm going to bring to give away because I've got to get rid of some of this stuff. And just brace yourselves. Brace yourselves for the theater. What else is going on? Over the weekend, I went to Medieval Times. First experience at Medieval Times. And if you don't think I bought a souvenir glass, you're out of your mind. This one has kind of lights flashing at the bottom. So I've been drinking my coffee out of that every morning, which is going to lead to a migraine, and that's fine. It's also not dishwasher safe because it has a battery, so I don't know. It'll probably end up in a cupboard, and then 90 years from now, 90 years? How long am I gonna live? Someone's going to find it at an estate sale. And they're going to say, this estate sale sucks, should we go? Anyway, let's get into the podcast. I love today's guest. It's Zeke Smith. Zeke, welcome to I Said No Gifts.
Well, thank you for having me.
I'm so happy you're here. I had a big weekend over at Medieval Times.
Well, I'm very jealous because I went to Medieval Times once when I was a child in Dallas, Texas.
Okay.
And have always wanted to go back. And my husband recently shot a television show for Tubi called The Z Suite. You can see it on Tubi.
Great.
In Toronto.
Okay.
And this was Tubi's first scripted show, and they just didn't know all the nooks and crannies of like filming something and all the rituals.
Oh, boy.
So there was no plan for a wrap party.
Oh, sure.
So I always love to be the party planner, and I lobbied really hard. I was happy to do all the logistical work to go to Medieval Times in Toronto.
That's a great idea.
As a wrap party, yeah.
And they said no?
Yeah, no one listened to me.
What's happening over at Tubi? This is ridiculous.
Girl.
Tubi is out of control. First of all, my apologies to Tubi. Come on, hire somebody that knows the basics of running a television show.
Yeah, I'll refuse to comment more. Because it's not my place. I'm just the husband. But I was very disappointed they did not take me up on my offer.
Wow, that would have been great.
Yeah.
So, do you have any memories from your original Medieval Times experience?
I just remember my mother was very concerned that there was going to be no silverware and that you had to eat with your hands.
Yes.
So we went to like a Walmart or whatever and bought like a box of plastic silverware.
No way.
And my mom like brought it in her purse and then was like concerned they were going to like confiscate it from her.
Of course, it's contraband.
Yes. And they didn't have Diet Pepsi. They only had regular Pepsi.
Oh, boy.
And we only drank Diet.
Of course, patio.
So that was a concern.
Wow, I had, well, not to brag, but I had a Diet Pepsi during my experience.
Oh, wow, so they've expanded their menu.
They've expanded it at least to Diet Pepsi. I still ate with my hands. Mm-hmm. I drank my soup out of the bowl holding my hands.
Yeah.
Dipped my clearly frozen garlic bread into the soup. Did not eat my corn. Did not eat my eclair. That looked like it had been taken from a bad wedding somewhere.
I'm not a fan of a mass-produced eclair.
I'm not either.
I think you got to do it Bottega Louis style, where it's very good, or don't bring in eclair.
Because I think it is something that's so easily manufactured in a factory that it'll often be kind of like, it's almost like an airplane dessert or something, where it's just, this is what we've got, take it.
I'm like, give me a Milano. I'm
Absolutely.
happy with a Milano.
This is me. If you're not going to go all the way for the dessert, just buy a bag of Chips Ahoy.
Yeah, that's fine. They're great.
I will prefer that because Chips Ahoy knows what they're doing. And somebody who doesn't care about his dessert is going to make something worse.
Exactly.
Oh, I love to hear that. I had a pretty decent time at Medieval Times. I feel like it kind of feels like you're dining around a litter box. In a way.
Yeah. didn't think of it. But yeah, because there's just the horses pooping in the dirt.
Yeah, and they have like those giant, like they have the employees running around with like what are essentially giant litter box scoopers. So it's an odd experience.
So my father used to own a cattle ranch.
Oh, wow.
So I've spent a little time, and I believe the technical term for those are shit shovelers.
That's the Latin term.
Yes.
Wow. So have you spent time on horses?
We didn't have like horses.
Okay.
It was kind of like my dad got it after he and my mother sold their business and got divorced, which sort of happened simultaneously.
Okay.
And he had this like dream of being a cowboy. So he bought this little like ranch in Prague, Oklahoma, which it's spelled like Prague, but we say Prague.
Oh, boy. There are several of those throughout the United States. I feel like.
we also have a Miami, which is spelled like Miami.
Miami?
Miami. Oklahoma is a very weird place. Both of our major airports are named after men who died in airplane crashes.
Oh, no. Who?
Will Rogers in Oklahoma City.
Okay.
And then Wiley Post in Tulsa.
That's tough. Were they named after they died in the plane crashes? Mm-hmm. This feels like a weird PR move.
What? I mean, Will Rogers was a very famous Oklahoman. So it's like, you get that. But then Wiley Post, not as famous. And it's sort of like, this seems like a bad trend.
Right. It's kind of like a springtime for Hitler situation.
Very much so.
Let's try to just get this airport to go out of business. Wow. And were they big plane crashes, or were they these ones where they're like, I'm a famous person and now I'm flying my own plane into the side of a mountain?
Yeah, I think like they were sort of like Amelia Earhart style.
Oh.
We want to go and like do some sort of flight that no one has done before, and then they die.
Right. The hubris.
Yes.
Where's the Amelia Earhart Airport? We need to get that going.
Is there not one?
I would go to that. That should fly through the Bermuda Triangle.
You know what is a great airport? Is the Charles Schultz Airport in Santa Clara.
Is it Peanuts themed?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's this tiny little airport with all this peanut stuff in it.
Right.
And it like, takes you to wine country, like near Healdsburg.
Right.
I don't know. Is that the Sonoma region? I think so. But you can fly there direct from Burbank.
And all the airplanes are shaped like doghouses and the Red Baron.
Exactly.
Wow.
There's a Snoopy on all the planes.
Wow, that's I love Peanuts. I absolutely adore Peanuts, and I feel like anything Peanuts themed I'm on board with.
It's our current television screensaver.
Oh.
You know how Apple, if you have Apple TV,
right.
It was like landscapes,
yes.
and now you can choose Peanuts.
You can, and it's just, is it animation or is it just pictures of the various
No, it's animation. It's a lot of like Snoopy sleeping on his doghouse and then like running around. It's very Snoopy-centric.
Oh, this is very sweet.
Yes.
I'm still on the landscapes because I like to try to guess where they are, and it's almost 9 out of 10 times Dubai.
Or LAX.
LAX.
That's my favorite one, is the aerial of LAX. Which is the worst airport in the world.
That is the best version of LAX. You only want to be in a drone above it.
Exactly.
If you're down on the ground level, forget it. They should do a screensaver of Burbank Airport.
Oh, they should.
That's something Apple could look into.
Right. Well, and you hear Burbank is going to be completely redone soon.
Oh, what's happening?
Well, they're just going to update it so it doesn't look like a gulag from the 70s.
I don't want anybody touching Burbank.
I agree with you. I think it just needs to be its own special little thing where you can
Forgotten
go
in
and
time.
valet your car for $27 a day, and you literally drive it up, you throw your keys at the guy, and in 5 minutes you're past TSA and you're...
It's the best airport in the world.
I mean, it's got like 6 Guy Fieri restaurants in it.
It certainly does. I think
there's
there's
only
a Guy
like
Fieri bathroom.
10 only 10 gates. There are only 4 flights a day.
It's so cool. I wonder. This is genuinely concerning to me. I wonder what. I hope it doesn't get in the way of it being so easy.
One would hope. Well, I think there's also the limiting factor of there can only be so many flights out of Burbank,
right?
Because of the air noise pollution.
Oh yeah, because it's kind of in a suburban area.
Yes, there's like very residential, and also all the studios.
Right.
Because like we're in Studio City, and right next to like Radford and Universal and all of that, and you can definitely like hear the planes. Wow. It's definitely like a stop for planes.
This is
kind of moment.
Yeah, so that will kind of probably keep it as small as possible.
You would think so.
We've got to preserve it. It's heaven on earth.
It is the best flight experience in the world.
Do you know when all of this renovation is going to begin?
No.
I brought you on here as the Burbank Airport official. Wow, but that sent a jolt through my body. I don't want them touching it. It's my little precious airport.
I wouldn't mind it being a little cleaner. Like if we wanted to replace some carpets.
The carpets are a little rough.
Maybe wanted to update the bathroom situation a little bit.
It's part of the charm. It's part of the charm. It's like, it's just like it's just been forgotten in the back of LA's closet, and we get to take advantage of how easy it is. But maybe they'll clean the carpets. Maybe they'll put in some tile, get one decent coffee place.
Yeah.
But I don't really care as long as I can just walk in, essentially.
Right. I'm happy to spend $60 on a whiskey cocktail and chicken fingers at Guy Fieri's.
How were the chicken fingers?
Not bad.
I feel like Guy Fieri would be decent with chicken fingers.
Yeah, the peak chicken finger is Wingstop.
Oh, interesting. I've never been to a Wingstop.
It's worth even just Postmating. But the chicken tenders themselves.
Right.
And their ranch sauce is its peak ranch sauce.
A good ranch, that's basically my number one chicken finger dipping sauce.
Yeah, I'll take a barbecue or a honey mustard every now and again, but ranch needs to be the centerpiece.
And barbecue, it could be any flavor, essentially. You really never know with barbecue. But ranch, you're like, there's a ballpark area of ranch. Sometimes barbecue sauce is a little sweet.
Yeah, well, it's got tons of sugar in it.
It's essentially
the base ingredient of American barbecue sauce is ketchup.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know if you've ever made your own barbecue sauce. I have.
Okay.
But it all starts with dump a bottle of ketchup, add brown sugar, throw in some spices, a little vinegar, mustard.
Yeah, I like a vinegar barbecue sauce.
Where are you from?
I'm from Salt Lake City.
Oh, okay. So you're not from a barbecue region?
No. I guess Utah, I would say, is more of a ranch-oriented, mayo-based sauces.
Yes.
Because we are famous with our fry sauce, which is ketchup and mayonnaise mixed together. You're from Texas?
Oklahoma,
right. And what's that? I assume that's barbecue-y.
Yeah, very much so. Oklahoma, and I hate to say this because Texas sucks. Boomer Sooner. Oklahoma is just culturally the northern province of Texas.
Right.
It's cowboys and Indians, it's barbecue, and yeah.
I always, for the longest time, I kind of just assumed Oklahoma was very dusty.
Well, because that's where the Dust Bowl happened. So I want to talk
How did I not make this connection?
That's where all the Okies left in Grapes of Wrath to come to California. Right. So Oklahoma, more fun facts, aside from our airports named after people who died in plane crashes. So the Dust Bowl happened because, well, first of all, we kicked all the Native Americans out of the southeastern United States. So like Florida, Georgia, Alabama.
Right.
Marched them on the Trail of Tears to Oklahoma.
Right.
Because they're like, this is a wasteland. No one wants this. And then they were like, well, actually, we're going to let, even further marginalize the Native people. And we're going to let white people have the good land. And then they farmed the land so much without any regard for the environmental impact.
Right.
That literally the Dust Bowl happened and dust was blowing all over the country because they just plowed up all of the roots of the things that keeps the dirt in the ground.
That is such a crazy disaster.
All right. And then the legacy continues. So when I lived in Oklahoma, there were maybe 3 earthquakes a year that were imperceptible, right? They're just sort of little,
there are 3 a day in LA.
Exactly. The ground shakes a little.
Right.
It happens. I left in 2006, and by the time I returned to see my dad 5 years later, there were something of 174 earthquakes a day.
What? Because
they started fracking. So fracking is a process of extracting oil and natural gas from the ground where shale is a very porous substance. Porous rock material, sorry. So you inject wastewater into the ground to break up the shale and get the gas and the oil to come up. And for a decade, they were like, no, it's not the fracking that's causing the earthquakes. It's not the fracking, which is the reason why you can
curse. Is curse.
The devil's a rumbling. But for 10 to 15 years, they're like, no, it's not fracking. And then finally they were like, yeah, this is becoming a problem and people can light their drinking water on fire.
Whoa. So what's the latest status of earthquakes in Oklahoma?
Well, of course, they put a couple of regulations on it, and now it's back to like 7 a year.
Okay, 7 years. You can handle 7 a year. Wow. That's Oklahoma's got to eventually learn a lesson about screwing things up with the ground.
Well, it's just such a weird place that is so dominated by like anti-regulatory,
right? It's very cowboy.
Yeah, pro-capitalist stuff. So we had I haven't lived there, and I'm basically like as a trans person like illegal in Oklahoma. I can't go back anymore. But there was a ballot initiative sometime in the early aughts, 2010s, where Oklahoma legalized cannabis.
Right.
Just for anyone to go and purchase. It didn't come from where it came from California, which is like lefty hippies who think people should be able to like medicate with cannabis. It came from like the libertarian side of things.
Sure.
And of course, everybody wants to smoke weed, so it passed this ballot initiative, and then it was like, okay, but there was no regulation on it.
Oh, wow.
To the extent that it was so easy to get a license to grow cannabis in California that drug operators from Russia and China were just like buying and opening up cannabis farms. And then
this was in Oklahoma.
Yeah. They would go and they would have these huge grows and they would just like dump all their trash everywhere. Oh, and people would be like, calling the company like, there's a bunch of Chinese people making drugs in next door. And nobody knew whose job it was to go and like investigate it because there were like 13 people who worked in like the cannabis organization, and nobody knew if it was law enforcement or the cannabis people or who. So there was this like massive growth of international illegal drug cartels growing weed in Oklahoma.
And then I assume at some point there were some regulations put on all of this.
They've now tamped it. They've now like increased the regulatory agency. It's not as fun as it was anymore.
Right.
But I think they're now trying to like it has like a lot of the legalization of cannabis, it hasn't been the economic boon people thought it was, nor has it had the like decriminalization, prisonification effects people thought it would. So now I know Texas just banned even sort of like secondary products like Delta 9 and CBD.
They're going in the other direction?
Right. Well, because Texas legalized hemp products.
Right.
Like CBD and like, jute rope or whatever. But there was this loophole in it where you could sell sort of like, it's not quite as potent as the weed we get here. It's called Delta 9.
Uh-huh.
So when I go visit my mom who lives in Austin now, we would go and just like buy weed from these like smoke shops.
Right.
And they're like, it's Delta 9. So me and my husband, we light it up, and I loved it because California weed is too strong.
Too much for you.
I used to be such a stoner in New York when I was just getting like dealer weed from a nice little white lesbian with dreadlocks. It was great. I had so much fun. But this weed, it gives me a panic attack. But in Texas, it was like the shitty dealer weed again.
Right.
So I'm disappointed.
Wow.
They're not gonna have
Texas is all over the place.
Yes.
Good grief. Do you consider Texas the South or the West? Or the Southwest?
Southwest is what I would say the answer is. But here's also the answer, is that there are parts of Texas that are the South. Like in the eastern part, it's sort of about Louisiana and Missouri, along the Mississippi River. That was sort of the earlier part of Texas that like geographically has the tall trees and the rocks, and it looks a lot like...
Doesn't look like Looney Tunes desert.
Exactly. Then, you go all the way out towards like El Paso or Marfa is a cool town. And it looks like you're in the desert with like the skulls and the tumbleweeds and the cactuses.
I was just talking to somebody about this. I don't know why, but yeah, because Texas is so cowboy focused, but it's also a lot of the South bullshit happening.
Yes. I mean, it definitely, was on the Confederate side during the Civil War.
Yeah, I guess I think that may be the answer there.
And I was talking to, Guy Branum?
Oh, yeah, of course.
So I was talking to Guy Branum about this. So college football is the major cultural institution of the South and the Southwest, I would say. And there has been a realignment of conferences where Oklahoma and Texas went from being in a conference that was like Kansas, Iowa, Texas, Oklahoma, to a conference that is the Southeastern Conference, and it is all of those like Principal, Deep, southern states.
Right.
So Oklahoma realigned itself in this cultural way to the South.
Oh, boy.
As no longer as part of like the Southwest.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's all the same, right? It's all the Bible Belt. It's all
of course.
whatever.
Of course.
But it is interesting because there was always such a thing of like Oklahoma's not the South.
Yes.
And
Oklahoma was kind of in a weird thing of its own.
oh, it was Indian territory.
Yeah.
Where
but culturally,
yes.
I couldn't quite place them. If you had asked me 5 minutes ago, what do you consider? Well, I guess I would have said Republican weirdness.
Yeah. I mean, but culturally, like I said, it is Texas with a small man complex.
That's hard to hear. Oklahoma listener, we love you.
Hey, I spent 18 years of my life there.
And I feel like people are moving to Tulsa.
Yeah, I hear that.
I feel like they have some sort of like artist program trying to get people to go there or something.
They do. Oh my God. I was in New York a few months ago, and NYU has a Tulsa campus now.
Oh, fascinating.
And I was like, they had all these like, I wish I went to the bookstore because they were like, NYU Tulsa. And I was like, what the fuck? You pay all this money to go to NYU and like live in Washington Square, and you want to spend a semester in Tulsa?
How bizarre.
So I looked up the program, and it's basically like they found a cheap and willing place where they can go send artists to like go write for 6 months.
Right.
And I think there is it's mostly that.
Right. Barron Trump is writing his play there now.
Yes.
Something like that.
His one-woman show.
Incredible. God willing. Okay, well, I think we should talk about something else. There's something I just have to get to, which is unfortunate, and I'm not thrilled about it. I was excited to have you here on the podcast today.
Well, thank you.
I thought Zeke will come by. We'll have a fantastic time. We'll move on with our days. The podcast is called I Said No Gifts. So I was a little, I would just say I was a little unsettled when I saw you come into the studio. Look, I'm sure you got at least one email with the title of the podcast, and you walk in holding what couldn't more clearly be a gift. Mm-hmm. I have to ask, is it for me?
It is.
Interesting. Okay. I'm going to just push through my feelings here. Should I open it here on the podcast?
Yes, I think you should, because it really dovetails nicely with this question of culture and cuisine of the Middle States.
Oh, I'm excited to see this then.
Yes. So here you
All
go.
Right. It's in this beautiful black bag.
Yeah, I think we got that at an after-party gift somewhere.
Oh, yeah. They're the tote bags just piling up in people's closets from various things. Okay. It feels like there might be two things in here.
There are actually 4 things in there.
Okay. Does it matter what order I pull them out?
No, but I would pull the big one out first.
Okay, the big one. And you've really got them squeezed in here. Let's see.
Sorry.
Let's see. Oh, I'm thrilled. I'm already thrilled. I'm seeing a crock pot. We're seeing a slow cooker.
Yes.
Okay. And should I bring everything out at once?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, I am so happy. Now I've brought out, it's got to be 70 pounds of Velveeta cheese. Wow. And diced chilies. Annalise, is this camera-wise? Am I getting in the way here? Are you ready are you about to scold me?
Looks great.
Looks great. Great. Wow. Oh my God. I mean, obviously, first of all, I don't own a crock pot, which I'm so thrilled about this.
Well, this is an intentionally shitty crock pot. So,
oh no, this is going to be a This Is Us situation.
No. So, they in Oklahoma, the dip, the thing that you eat that runs through your veins, is Velveeta Rotel dip.
Right.
Which is just this shelf-stable cheese product.
Yeah, of course. We love a shelf-stable processed cheese.
And 2 cans of these diced tomatoes and green chilies.
Incredible.
And you cube up the Velveeta and you put it in the crock pot with the Rotel dip, or the Rotel, and then you put the lid on.
Right.
And you just kind of let it melt together. Yeah. But I will give you a warning. It dries out, so you got to put the lid back on it. So if you set this out at a gathering, you do need to inform your guests to put it back on, because otherwise it will become this like desiccated block of cheese product. That is very hard to clean out.
You've got a frack, basically.
Yes, exactly.
Wow. I've obviously had queso and various forms of this, but I've never made it at home.
Yeah, so this is the easiest way to do it. And really, if you're getting queso at a Tex-Mex place, it's just this, but thinned out with chicken stock.
Oh, interesting. They're scamming all of us.
Well, if you like it runny, you like it runny. This is a very thick cheese dip.
Right. Well, tell me why you brought this. I mean, other than the fact that what a delicious thing to eat.
Sure. Well, so my husband, my now husband, when we first started dating and sort of, we were like, oh, this is like a thing. Our first purchase, we went to Target. We don't go to Target anymore, of course.
Oh, sure.
But we went to Target in West Hollywood, the one on like Santa Monica.
Of course.
Is that Highland?
It's Santa Monica and La Brea.
La Brea, yes.
Connected to
like a Best Buy.
And a Rock and Roll Sushi, I believe.
Yes. So yeah, our first purchase, because I wanted to introduce him to this cultural staple of mine. Our first purchase was a crock pot just for making queso, and we still have it.
Wow. And how was his first experience?
Oh, he loved it.
I feel like it's something you'd be hard pressed to find someone who doesn't love a melted cheese dip.
It's with a tortilla chip. It's the perfect thing.
Oh, it's fantastic. How often are you making it?
I think we only make it when people come over at this point.
Okay.
Though sometimes we love to have what I like to call tacos gringos night.
Oh.
So we get the ground beef with like the packet of seasoning, and we get the hard shell tacos.
Yes.
And the grated cheese. And so sometimes when we do that for dinner, he'll insist that I. But the thing is, it's like it doesn't keep. So
no, I mean it's meant to be on a shelf for 100 years until you make it, and then forget it.
Exactly.
It'll be rotten within probably 10 minutes. What is this cheese made? I mean, it's still made out of milk and stuff, but I guess they just made it out of like atomic ingredients.
Basically. So I forget when this happened, but there was, probably like, sometime the economy was low, to the government to support cheese producers, dairy producers. They bought up all of this cheddar cheese and like stored it in a cave.
What?
And then they're like, well, we can't just like keep cheese in a cave forever. The government owns all this cheese. What can we do with it? And they had scientists come up with a pasteurized cheese product. So it does technically start out as cheddar, at least in its original iteration. And then it gets like boiled down and whatever to this shelf-stable cheese product. And then it became government cheese, right?
Right, government cheese.
The government has all this cheese. What are we going to do? We're going to give it to poor people.
Right. And now it's for everybody. And I would love to know where that cave was.
Yeah. I listened to that on an NPR podcast years ago. I would have to.
Wow. It's like the cave in Aladdin. Except for
I would live in a cheese cave.
Absolutely. I can imagine myself sliding down a hill of cheese, diving into it like Scrooge McDuck. Wow. What a whimsical thing for the United States government to have done.
Yeah.
And then turned into this. I wonder when this expires. I want to see. August 21st, 25.
Oh, so you better get on it.
I guess have a few months.
We usually stockpile this, so clearly that came from the back of the shelf.
But it does say Best Buy, so it's not like expires. So it probably has another 40 years after that.
Oh
date.
yeah, I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, I think it'll probably get like less tangy, but
or more.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, it's cheese. We've got to let it age.
Have you ever opened up a big block of Velveeta like that?
No.
You're going to have fun when you like cut it out of the foil and it's like gooey but also like solid and wiggly.
Should I do it now?
You're more than welcome to.
I mean, we're on video here. I think we should. The viewer would be so unhappy if they didn't get to see this. And it's even like, I've never noticed it's in like this weird little box.
Yeah, you just gotta shake it out.
The listener right now is so confused.
You could just grab the bottom and separate it.
No, I'll shake it all the way. Let him learn. Let's see here. Here we go. Wow, this is much more.
Well, how's it going to survive, the nuclear apocalypse?
Whoa.
That's how.
Oh, it's so soft and weird. Okay, we're opening it. This is probably going to smell up the room. Let's see here. I will literally have to make queso tonight. Let's see here. Oh! It tastes wonderful when made, but smelling that close.
Whoa.
I just burned my nostrils out or something. Okay, let's keep going. Is this going to get all over my hands? Let's see here. spanking it. But listen to that. That is horrifying. That is the grossest possible noise.
You want to pinch a little piece off and try it?
Oh.
I won't make you do it. I'm just saying. Oh. It would be rude. I did bring it here.
I have to do it, but I am going to say to you, there is, I would rather eat raw chicken than uncooked processed cheese. Like what are those, like the Kraft singles? If that's not melted, instant nausea.
Yeah, hard agree. I grill a lot. So we do like a lot of like burgers, and I'm a believer in cheddar on a burger.
Right.
But my hubby and everybody else likes American, and peeling those little plastic packets over the grill, I'm just like, ugh. Ugh.
I'm fine once it's melted on the hamburger, but okay, I'm going to try this, and we're just letting everyone know I may become violently sick. So this could be the first episode I become really sick on, which is exciting.
What if you die?
Oh, right here?
Does that mean I get the podcast?
You get the podcast.
Oh, wonderful.
So start booking guests. Start thinking of future guests. Okay, I'm going to... Oh, my God. Oh.
It's so gross.
I can barely swallow that, and it was true.
Because it's like paste.
Oh! Texturally, that is not for me. This has got to be... Do you want to try it?
No, Girl. I grew up on that. They sent that with me to school for lunch.
Would they really?
No.
I'm trying to think, is there any other time other than melting it that you use this? Do people put this, like, spread it on sandwiches?
Maybe you could make like a pimento cheese, but again, you would still sort of be like melting and incorporating
Right.
that.
I can't imagine this as now it's on my hand. I'm going to smell like cheese for weeks.
I don't know, are there any recipe ideas on the box?
There's another one that I agree with, which is mac and cheese.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
That makes sense, right?
There might even be... Oh, yeah. See, look. The recipe is even on the can.
Oh, wow. I love a can recipe. You can kind of count on these. I mean, the recipe is... It's just literally two pictures of two cans and then the cheese.
Yeah.
50% less fat. That means nothing to anybody. Wow. And for the listener or viewer, if you want to know, this essentially requires 2 cups of macaroni. You need 3/4 of a pound of cheese. So that's about 1/10 of what you've given me here. Mm-hmm. And then a 1/3 cup milk and an 1/8 tablespoon or teaspoon of pepper. That's almost nothing. And then you just cook all of that, I assume, boil the macaroni, and then throw it all together. What an easy recipe.
Yeah.
This is a recipe podcast now.
Okay, great.
This is our first official recipe brought to us by Velveeta. Wow. Do you have any other favorite dips?
My whole thing right now. Do you know labna?
Oh, I love labna. Yes, of course.
So I like to take labna because it's a little healthier than mixing mayonnaise and sour cream together. I take labna and I pour a packet of the Hidden Valley Ranch.
Oh, this is a great idea.
Powder.
Yes, of course.
And then eat vegetables.
Yes, I do this with cottage cheese. You blend up cottage cheese with ranch.
I actually use cottage cheese when I make macaroni and cheese. There's a great recipe from the New York Times.
Okay.
That's like you take cottage cheese and then you add like mustard powder and cayenne and a little like nutmeg.
Right.
And then you blend it up with milk and cheddar cheese.
Right.
And it becomes like this slurry.
Right. Don't love that word. It becomes essentially a slime.
It becomes slightly viscous goo. It's kind of medium thick.
You've ruined eating macaroni and cheese for everyone. But it's a good recipe?
It's great. I'll send it to you after
Okay,
the
fantastic.
podcast.
I'd love that.
They didn't give me your email address, but you know.
Oh, yeah. I've specifically said do not give it to Zeke. I can't have him emailing me.
I mean,
recipes.
there are so many armed guards around us. Like, I don't even why have me on the podcast if you were so afraid of me?
There's a little red dot on your forehead right now.
I was told if I move out of the chair, I will be shot.
I'm excited about this mac and cheese recipe. Yeah, obviously cottage cheese is having a huge moment.
Yes.
Massive moment, which I'll take credit for.
Oh, okay. Well, I feel like everything that was cool in the 90s is now cool again.
Yes.
Like baggy jeans.
And
cottage cheese was like the diet food.
Right.
It was like, I'm watching my weight, I'm having lettuce cups and cottage cheese.
And a Fresca.
Yes.
And it's like, of course, nobody liked that because you were eating the worst version of it. But now we've realized cottage cheese is wonderful. At least I have. I've been crowing about it on this podcast for 5 years.
I have a half-used bucket of cottage cheese in my fridge. I should have brought that.
Oh, you should.
You'd appreciate that much more.
I would have eaten the whole thing. I wouldn't have gagged.
Now, do you season it at all?
It depends on what I'm doing. Like sometimes I'll just have it with chips, a few chips. Sometimes I'll have it with toast. Sometimes I'm trying to like mix it up with, because some people like it with sweet things, and I don't know that I'm quite on board with that yet, but I might throw some granola in there.
Okay.
I'm all over the map. I'm also putting it in scrambled eggs.
Okay.
I'm trying to, and then I'll make my ranch dip.
You're such a boy from Utah. Oh, you're bringing cottage cheese back to the culinary landscape of America. What do you eat it with? Well, chips and toast. And if I'm feeling crazy, I'll put granola in it.
And then ultimately I turn it into ranch. Well, excuse me. No, I think cottage cheese, if you can find a way that you enjoy it, what a miracle product. It's really...
I don't know too much about it. I just know that they sell it in full fat and low fat varieties,
Yes,
but you always want to get the full fat. Yeah.
There's no reason to get the low fat.
No, that's another 90s fad.
That is a 90s fad, and the manufacturers of that product are predatory. They should stop. They should only serve full fat cottage cheese. I don't like the big curd one, though.
Oh, you don't like a big curd?
Yeah.
You like it more like a slurry?
I prefer a slush, a slurry, dairy slush.
If they could just dispense it out of the 7-Eleven Slurpee dispensers.
Right into a...
Delicious.
Drinking cottage cheese through a straw. It's
You'd have to get one of those
us.
big boba straws.
Oh, I'm not a boba person.
It's fine.
I'm not a sweet tea person, so boba is sweet tea with a texture that's hard for me, and then it becomes a nightmare product.
So what I like is at Westfield Century City, which is, heaven.
It's quite a mall.
It is. They have, and of course I forget the name, but there's like a bougie boba place where you can choose your sugar level.
Okay.
So if you want to do, and they have like nice things, like a strawberry jasmine.
Right.
So like, a strawberry jasmine iced tea sounds nice, but I only want 25% of the sugar.
Oh, interesting.
And then I want strawberries at the bottom instead of the boba pearls.
Oh, so this is a little more my speed. So I probably could get an unsweetened tea.
Yes.
With dirt at the bottom.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, that's kind of what I like to
probably put some
drink.
Velveeta in the bottom if you wanted.
Yeah, I remember the first time I ever saw boba. It was a long time ago at this point, but I thought, oh, that looks so magical and exciting. And then I had probably 2 sips, and I was like, this is the worst thing I've ever tried. And God bless boba and everyone who drinks it, but for me, I can't. The backwash element of it feels strange.
See, I discovered boba when I was like in high school. I think I was at debate camp at the University of Michigan. And, of course, all these kids who came from the East Coast and from California, like, they knew what boba was. But I was like, what is it? And I always got, like, a green apple slush with the boba on the bottom. So it was like an icy, and then the tapioca pearls got, like, really hard. And so I wasn't, like, really into that. But for me, it was all about getting, like, the fruit slush.
Oh, right, of course.
I never would get, like, the milk tea or what have you.
Yes, for me, I love the taste of tea, but once it becomes sweetened, it's like the opposite of tea for me.
Yeah, culturally, I am from an unsweetened iced tea part of the country.
Oh, interesting, because I kind of would have assumed you were from a sweetened tea part of the country.
No. That's South. We're Southwest, remember?
Right. You guys have the right idea.
Exactly.
Unsweetened iced tea, I'll drink it all day.
Yeah, it's great.
Put a teaspoon of sugar in that, and I'm throwing it in the garbage.
Yeah, I'm also not a big believer in like squeezing lemon in iced tea.
Okay, so now we're gonna get in a fight.
Okay, fine.
You don't like the sourness of the lemon.
No, well, I actually prefer, my favorite form of iced tea is a mint iced tea.
Oh, sure.
Have you ever been to Fresh Corn Grill in West Hollywood?
I have once.
They do a mint iced tea.
Okay.
And if you drink it all while you're there, they'll give you a to-go one as well.
Oh, I love a free refill. Free refills, I think we're going to lose them soon, and I'm so afraid.
You know, this is... It's very interesting because growing up, and I'm sure you remember this too, you go to a restaurant and you got a quart glass,
yes,
like a 3 pints in a big red plastic glass.
Enough for the whole family.
Yeah, and you drank half of it, they just bring you a new one.
Yes.
And that's how it was. We never drank water with a meal.
No. Why would you do that?
We just went right up to the soda fountain and poured it right in our mouths. But now, and I remember the first time we went to New York, and we had to like pay per Diet Coke.
Oh.
And my family was just like, whoa. That was the thing that really threw them about New York. Not the subway,
of course.
not the homelessness. It was like, you're making me pay per Diet Coke, and I got to finish it, and then I got to like wave at you, and I got to ask for another one.
Unacceptable.
Yes. So we found this pizza place called John's Pizzeria, which is very famous. And there for $5, they give you a pitcher of Diet Pepsi.
Oh.
So we would sit down and immediately order like one pitcher per person.
If you find something like that in New York, I mean, I'm there. I'm trying to think of other places in New York I'll go for a free refill, and I'm coming up blank. You have to go to essentially a chain.
Yeah, it's been a minute. I've lived in Los Angeles for like 9 years at this point. Mm-hmm. I did 9 years in New York before. Yeah, I can't think of a free refill place.
Yeah, I remember.
The only place where you could probably get a free refill is if you go to a bar and order a non-alcoholic beverage.
Right. And even there, I think it's going to be tough. I think it's going to, and they'll probably look at you like you're insane, or like you're getting another soda. So it's.
Wow. Do you really need another full sugar soda?
The judgment there is really harsh. Yeah, but I feel like 10 years from now, a free refill will be a thing of the past, and I don't know what I'm going to do personally. I'm going to have a meltdown.
Well, as far as sugar sodas go, it's still largely made with corn syrup.
Yes.
And we grow a lot of corn here.
Yes.
So I don't know. Let's not speculate about the world. You were saying 90. We began like 90 years in the future at an estate sale, and I was like, girl, the country's not going to make it 90. The planet's not going to make it 90 years. That bitch would have to get on a plane and go to Mars.
This cheese will be the emperor of Earth in 90 years. It's going to rise up and become
cheese and cockroaches.
Yes. I do feel like you see a crock pot at a lot of estate sales.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm a big believer in a slow cooker. This is not one you want to actually like cook things in.
You brought me like a dangerous product. I'm so afraid to use this now.
That's why it's just for queso. I have this exact same crock pot in my home, and it is just
exclusively.
For queso.
Do you have another crock pot for other things?
I do. So many moons ago, I did like. They probably don't do this anymore. I went to go like give a talk for Pride Month at Whirlpool in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Great.
And I was brought there by like, the DEI. Right. And they were like, we're only authorized to pay you so much in cash, but then we have sort of like an unlimited budget to give you
heaven
Whirlpool products. So they also, KitchenAid is under that umbrella. So I got like a $700 slow cooker, and it has like an attachment with like an arm so it can like stir things constantly. And again, Nico, my husband, and I were just starting to date, and he's on this like big television show and this big flashy person, and I was trying to be like, well, I can get cool stuff too. So I send him, and I'm like, I can get all the free appliances I want. Do you want an appliance? And so he looks at it, and this is very him. He finds like a $1,000 KitchenAid mixer.
Oh, I mean, I was going to ask you this because I have a nice KitchenAid mixer at home, but if I was given carte blanche with KitchenAid mixers, I'd have 10 in my home.
Yeah, and he picked out like it's special limited edition matte black
like Batman's KitchenAid mixer.
They're individually numbered because they only made like 100 of them. So I really want to impress this guy. I'm really into him. So I email the people and I'm like, if this is too much, it's okay. Here you go. And not only did they send me the KitchenAid mixer, which I got to kind of like,
yeah, of course,
they sent me 2 of the slow cookers. And they were willing to send...
What a budget they've got for this.
I know. They were willing to send me, like, a washing machine.
Yeah, I was going to say, get a dishwasher.
But I lived in an apartment in West Hollywood. Like, I didn't...
Open a showroom and sell these things.
I know. Now I'm like, we had to replace our washer and dryer in our home that we purchased 5 years ago because the people we bought the home from stole the washer and dryer. Oh, we bought our home from, they had impeccable taste. Mm-hmm. So the house is really well done, but they were terrible people. So when you buy a home, you set a date that you're going to hand over the keys.
Right.
We'd had problems, and then it was like 2 weeks before we were about to move into the home, and this is like peak COVID, right?
Sure.
So like life is complicated.
Mm-hmm.
We email them. We don't hear back. I email them again. And they're like, yeah, we might be out at the out date.
What? We might?
And then it was like, no, ma'am. And then, so what we had done was, there was the date of the sale.
Okay.
And then they wanted to have 2 months more in the house while they finished figuring out where they were going to live. And we're like, okay, fine, whatever. And so then technically we became, because then we owned the house and they were our renters.
Wow.
Technically.
What a hassle.
So the guy wrote back and was like, my child had cancer. He had been cured for years.
Okay.
But because the child had cancer, he didn't want to leave the house because of COVID restrictions.
Right.
And the way that the law worked was like you can't kick someone out of their home for having COVID health restrictions.
Oh, interesting.
So I was like, we got fucking squatters. They're trying to squat.
Wow.
So we had to get lawyers involved.
Weird.
And it was such a hassle to finally get them out. And when you buy a house, there are like the things that are like included in the house price and then the things that aren't. So like your couches, your furniture,
right.
But anything that is like bolted to the wall, like light fixtures or a washer and dryer or like cabinets in the garage, that's part of the house.
Right.
So when we were doing this walkthrough, when like we became the leasers and renters, whatever, he was talking about all these like vintage light fixtures, which they're beautiful.
Sure.
And he was like, yeah, we can talk about if you want to buy those from us. And I was like,
no.
Ma'am, sir, we own these. These
are part of the deal.
Fixtures. Yeah. And like the guy we're like, you have to specifically exclude those. And like, it was not excluded.
Right.
And then he wanted to fire his realtor, which he ultimately did. And his realtor, in an attempt to sort of salvage it, was like, what if I just give you $5,000 for like out of my own pocket for the light fixtures? And so we looked up all the light fixtures, and they were like $40,000 worth of light fixtures.
Whoa.
They're like really cool vintage
right.
pieces. So we're like, no. And if like we come to the house and the light fixtures aren't there,
it's a lawsuit.
Call the cops.
Yes, they're stolen.
Yeah. So we come, finally we get to take over the house. The light fixtures are still there, but they'd taken the washer and dryer. And they had all these like cabinets in the garage, which were sort of like pieced together, right? They weren't like pieces that you got from IKEA.
Right.
And they had taken all of the cabinets out of the garage as well.
What? What was the expectation of this person when they sold the home? Are they not familiar with the idea of selling an object?
It was so weird. It was like we were forcing them out of their home.
Yeah, somebody like holding someone hostage or...
We paid well over asking price.
Of course, during that time period?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was nuts.
Yeah, there was something else going on, something dark. Someone had a gun. They were holding a gun to these people.
Yeah, I don't know.
Interesting. Maybe it was you. Maybe you're not telling us the whole story, Zeke. You forced these poor people out of their house, took their light fixtures.
After paying them quite over asking price, I gave them more money than they asked for their home. And they were like, okay. And then I was like, get out of there. It's mine now.
Wow,
and
what a situation.
Another crazy little story if we have time.
Of course.
So there was a husband and a wife and a child. And we only interacted with the husband, but after they moved out and we moved in, every now and again, a package would come to the address to the previous owners.
Right.
Which, like, sure. And she would text me and be like, hey, my aunt sent a gift for my son. Can you, put it out on the... and I'll come grab it.
Right.
I was like, yeah, not a problem. It's a gift for your child. People don't know you moved. But then, like, the 6-month mark passed, which is, like, the acceptable time frame.
Yes.
And then, like, every 3 or 4 months, a package would come for her. And she would text me and be like, oh, hey, I'm going to... Not like...
You're now just like the post office.
Right. And so after we got to the 2-year mark, and she texted me to have telling me when to have the package out for her. And I was like, this has got to stop. We're going to be doing this for decades if we don't stop. So I didn't respond to her. And then she showed up at the time that she had decided.
Wow. These people are nightmares.
And she's calling me and texting me, and I'm like, I'm not responding. And she's ringing the doorbell. So our yard is like gated in.
Sure.
So she then, I guess, punches in her access code.
Who is this person?
which we thought we had deleted from the memory, but had not. She punches in the exit, comes in to the yard, looks around, doesn't see it. And then I wasn't home, but my husband was. So, and my husband, he's Filipino. And he comes out to the porch and, because he's like, what the fuck just happened? Like, because we could see on the security cameras. And he opens the gate and she's like, oh, hi, I'm,
Be sure.
Who used to live here. I just came from my package. And, but like speaks like down to him because she thinks he's
here?
Like, yeah. Like I don't know.
This is
the
my
nurse.
post office, right.
And he's like, ma'am, this is our property. You have entered it illegally.
Oh, good.
You need to stop sending your shit here because we're done.
Good for him.
Yeah.
How did she react?
She was like, she like didn't know what to, she was a white lady who was like spoken to by a brown person with force. And she was like,
Oh, also for her, like, what is your life that's convenient for you? Get control of your life.
I know.
What a mess.
And it's like, and it would be like one bra or like one pair of pliers. Like it would be this like minuscule stuff.
Right.
There was one time where it was some sort of like tea she bought off Instagram, like clearly.
Wow, what a menace.
Yes.
I mean, whatever. Good for her, ultimately. Just kind of steamrolling everyone in her life. R.I.P. Well, I think we should play a game.
Okay.
We're going to play a game called Gift Master, but I need a number between 1 and 10 from you.
7.
Okay, I have to do some light calculating to get our game pieces. So right now you can promote, recommend, do whatever you want. I'll be right back.
So I'm on the board of directors of a wonderful organization called GLAD, and we work in LGBTQ representation in media. Well, you probably know us from the GLAD Awards, which are super fun. If you would like to donate to our very important work right now, you can go to glad.org, or you can holler at me at Zekerchief on Instagram. And my email is just zekerchief@gmail.com. So if you would like to get, if you are a person of consequence and influence and would like to get involved with GLAD in promoting LGBTQ plus equality, we would love to work with you. Or if you want to give us monies, please, feel free to holler at me as well. And also, if you are a showrunner and you are staffing a comedy writer's room right now, I would love to send you my samples and be an asset to your team. So hire me and give me money, or donate to GLAD and give me money. Money, please. The economy is great right now. It's a time where people are feeling very generous.
Well, ultimately what I'd say, especially the entertainment industry, has never been better.
Right.
There's simply jobs everywhere for the taking. No, I mean, yeah, what a nightmare everything is.
Obviously, my husband's an actor. I'm a writer. And my husband has been traveling to far off lands so much, like, Atlanta and Connecticut, to film over the past few years. And it's just really inconvenient, particularly now that we have a puppy.
Oh, sure.
A child, an infant.
Yes,
really.
Of course.
And my dad, I was going to Burbank to pick up my dad. He was flying in to see me, and I saw that there was like new studio construction around the Burbank airport, like not far from here. And I immediately called my husband. I was like, Warner Brothers is building new studio space. That must be, maybe it's just for the tax deduction, but maybe there's hope it's coming back.
Oh, I hope so. Yes. I really don't understand what's happening in the television industry. It's very scary.
Yeah.
Listener, what can I recommend or promote? Well, I've got to be better about telling you that we have merch available. Go to exactlyrightstore.com. We've got merch. And, if you want, leave a user review or a listener review. Do whatever you want to support the podcast. We're also on Instagram. Blah, blah, blah.
Do you ever sell the gifts that people bring you?
I have never sold one. I've started giving them away at live shows.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Because, we've done, I think, 250 episodes, and that's a lot of items to have.
Well, you have a store.
We could just get on there and just start auctioning them off.
Or just put them on eBay, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. Can you imagine the scandal? Bridger Winegar is selling the gifts.
I didn't want them in the first place. Get
I think that was very clear. Okay, and everybody donate to GLAD. What a great organization. Hire Zeke. Hire television writers in general. It's a nightmare. This is how we play Gift Master.
Okay.
I'm going to name 3 people, 3 celebrities, and 3 gifts, 3 things you can give away.
Okay.
You're going to tell me which gift you would give to which person and why. Does that make perfect sense?
It does.
Okay. The 3 celebrities today are, number 1, Doechii. We love Doechii.
Oh, yes, I got to meet her at the GLAAD Awards.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
Yeah, she won a GLAAD Award.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, she deserves a lot of awards. I mean, the kind of almost Missy Elliott level visual music interaction at this point.
Her speech is actually fantastic. You can look it up on YouTube. Very inspiring.
Oh, that's amazing. Great.
Yes.
Okay, number 2, Diane Sawyer.
Oh, love. Where's she been? Is she dead?
I'm going to Google it. Diane Sawyer alive.
Because she was such a fixture in the news world growing up.
See. Still alive.
Great.
First name, Leela. We're learning something about Diane right now.
I guess it sounded too ethnic.
Yeah, Leela Sawyer. Leela Diane Sawyer. And she's 79.
Oh, good for her.
Happy birthday, Diane, whenever your birthday is. Okay, and number 3, the Green Goblin. Kind of Spider-Man's nemesis. And the 3 things you'll be giving these people. This first one is from a listener. We get listener suggestions for the other game we play, but this is a rare one. This is from a listener named Ashley. The gift is Hi, Ashley. A full hour of watching an expectant parent open gifts at a baby shower. So that's kind of an experience. The second one is also an experience, which is a near-death experience.
Ooh.
And number 3, a reusable water bottle. So, Doechii, Diane Sawyer, Green Goblin. A full hour of watching an expectant parent open gifts at a baby shower, a near-death experience, and a reusable water bottle.
Okay, I've got it. So I am going to give here's the thing, Green Goblin.
Mm-hmm.
There's also a plumbing product called the Green Gobbler.
Really?
Yeah, that's like a more environmentally friendly version of Drano.
Wow, Disney's going to sue them into the ground.
Maybe. I don't know. It's a good product. I just bought some recently at an Ace Hardware. Yeah. So instead of plunging your toilet when you clog it, which I'm sure you do on the regular, with all that ranch you're eating, all that cheese.
My home is just overflowing. Oh, that's so gross.
You can just pour it in and shut the lid and leave it for 5 hours and then flush it. The clog's gone.
It's like a Drano type product?
Yeah, but it's more environmentally friendly.
Oh, that's good to know.
It's much safer. Yeah. Okay. Green Gobbler.
Just pure acid.
Yeah. Donate to GLAAD and buy some Green Gobbler. They're probably Trumpers. I don't know. I went and I had to go find it at an Ace Hardware because we can't go to Home Depot or to Target.
It's just never ending.
Yes, we won't have any money soon, so it's fine. Everything will just be the barter economy. But yes, so the Green Goblin, I think he has had plenty of near-death experiences.
Right. Old hat.
Right. So I don't think that is gonna, because a near-death experience can really be life-changing and beautiful. Yes. And we also don't want to give him anything beautiful. So I think he's a bad guy. We want to torture him and just make him watch an expectant parent open gifts.
And what a guest at a baby shower.
Yeah.
He flies through the window and then he's sitting there quietly while the parent is opening the gifts.
Right, and what a story the parent can tell their child.
Of course. What an amazing experience to have this man in kind of just armor, his hovercraft just in your living room.
Well, exactly, and maybe he can be the gift of new life and the joy and love of expectant parents can have some sort of a transformative effect on his heart and lead him to Christ and to give up his evil ways.
And what a godfather to have.
Yeah.
My godfather is the Green Goblin.
Yeah. Oh, you had Spider-Man at your birthday? Huh. Well, the real Spider-Man, he drove a Toyota Corolla. I once, as a child, and I'll never forget it, went to a birthday party, but I guess we were a little bit late. And the Batman they hired pulled up in this junky car and stubbed out his cigarette and walked in. And I was like, Batman, that's not the Batmobile.
Batman has hit a rough patch.
I'm surprised they didn't make him park around the block.
Not a great He should have known to park around the block.
Right. That should probably just be standard operating procedure if you're a character.
You're right.
And a non-public character. Exactly. When you're not just standing on the street trying to harass people. When you're a hired character. This is professional. Okay, so I think that means, and I mean this in a beautiful way, in order to encourage her art and her growth as an artist and a truth teller and someone who brings a new perspective to the world, I'm going to give Doechii the near-death experience.
Oh, I like this.
Diane Sawyer, too close to death.
Yeah,
Nothing
I mean,
to
at
be
that
gained
point,
from
it's, she's
had enough.
She'll get it soon
Look,
enough.
I don't want to bother her. She probably has a nice ranch out in Palm Springs.
Right.
She has done her duty to the country by reporting the news faithfully and truthfully for decades. And I'll give you a water bottle and leave you alone. Give it to your gardener. Give it to your grandchild.
Yeah,
Diane, thank you for your service.
And she might be forgetting to hydrate anyway at this point.
Oh, exactly. I mean, I will say, reusable totes, I don't need any more. I have too many.
Mm-hmm.
I have to buy 10 cents, a bag for 10 cents at Ralph's, and those Ralph's bags are very sturdy.
Right.
And I should remember to bring them. And sometimes I even put them in my car and then just don't remember to bring them in.
Of course.
It's a thing. But reusable water bottles?
I'll take them.
I'll
give
with
it to
that.
me. Absolutely. I think Dochi's going to do an excellent job with a near-death experience, not a death experience.
Right.
Just gets close and then comes back. Hopefully doesn't...
Well, as it was pitched, it was a near-death experience with no risk of death occurring. That's at least the way I process it.
No, absolutely. There's no risk of death.
So it's it could be as minor as skydiving, right?
Yeah, I guess that kind of technically is a near-death experience.
Because you are hurtling out of an airplane.
Right. Yeah, so I mean,
have you ever
me eating this
skydove?
cheese today was a near-death experience. I could not possibly skydive.
Why is that?
Because
you're not allowed to expose your skin to the sun.
Yeah,
you go
immediate
full burqa
sunburn.
when you're outside.
I probably should at this point. I think I probably would ultimately enjoy it, but my fear is that at that moment of about to jump out of the plane, and you have the person behind you, the the expert. Mm-hmm. I think that the animal instinct in my body would take over in such a strong way,
and you would try to kill him.
I think I would attack or cause a thing that would ultimately lead to my death, and probably their death as well.
Sure.
And I don't trust my primal instincts to be in control enough. Have you ever gone?
I've never gone. I'm kind of like an adventure junkie.
Sure.
So it very much appeals to me. However, I was the best man at my best friend's wedding.
Okay.
He is a 6'4" heterosexual hunk of man from New Jersey. And so we went to the Poconos with 30 hooligans from New Jersey. And one of them, the guy who got the drunkest, the fastest, and the most often, tried to start the most fights, peed on people off of the deck.
Oh, no.
And started throwing firecrackers into the house. He was a skydiving instructor.
Oh, interesting.
And I hear he's gotten sober and he's bought his own plane and he's doing very well. But the idea that that's the person who I would be trusting with my life while hurting out of an airplane really gives me pause.
Yes. Yeah, you don't really think about the professional behind the jump.
Right. You want to think they're fresh out of the Air Force.
Right, exactly.
And, a highly tactical practitioner and whatever. But no, it's probably some 23-year-old who failed out of community college
with
and
a lot
decided
of
he
problems.
likes jumping out of airplanes. Yeah.
Yeah, you have no idea what that person might be having a bad day. Oh, no thank you. I went indoor skydiving.
Yeah, I've seen that. I want to try that.
Somebody gave it to me as a gift on this podcast.
I
fly, and it was enough for me.
Did you do it at City Walk?
I did it at City Walk, and going to City Walk alone is kind of a near-death experience, so it was thrilling in every way for me. I recommend it once, maybe.
Yeah. The parking at City Walk is tough.
Atrocious.
But it is, if you want to go to do an IMAX or a big
sure
movie viewing experience, or you want to buy out a theater for $500 for 40 people.
Wow.
Which I do frequently. People pay me back.
Right, of course.
But we wanted to go see Wicked, not surrounded by teenagers.
Right.
For gays, adults only.
Sure.
So we bought it out and saw Wicked.
Wow.
Yeah. Or Guy Branum is a friend. I mentioned him earlier. We bought out one and we did a bros screening.
Wow, this is great.
Yeah, we did it for Cruella.
Buying out $500 does not seem that crazy for a movie theater.
I know. And you can fit 40 people in there. So if you divvy it up, it works out. But the parking situation over there is atrocious.
Well, you're parking at a theme park.
Yes.
It's not for me. Okay, it's time. You played the game very well, by the way. We've got to answer a listener question.
Great.
We've got people sending in voice notes, emails, all kinds of things to isaidnogifts@gmail.com. I think we'll do a voice note today. Annalise, could we hear a voice note?
Hello, Bridger and Annalise. I'm not going to be telling you my name for reasons that may become clear in a second, because I am looking for your assistance in some ideas of how I can exact petty revenge. There's a member of my family who has greatly screwed over the rest of my family in ways that are monumental and indeed irreversible. And I don't want to cause any property damage. I don't want to cause him any physical harm, but I do want to annoy him for the rest of his life. If you have any thoughts, I thought perhaps that maybe you, Bridger, have tried to exact revenge on some of your ungrateful guests, and maybe you would be willing to share some of your favorite techniques with me. Thank you so much for your help.
Interesting. I wonder what happened in this situation.
Yeah.
This seems like a genuine problem. What did this family member do?
That's very interesting.
That's what I'm
Has to be with
about.
money. Like, absconded with something that was supposed to be everyone's general inheritance.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I have two ideas for petty revenge.
Oh, I love
while
the
contemplate
immediate,
more.
yes.
Well, one, so I had a friend who moved in with a girlfriend like right before the pandemic.
Okay.
And then the girlfriend was like, I want to break up with you. You have to leave.
Oh.
And we're talking like April of 2020.
Oh, that's...
Like height
I'm
of...
sorry. April 2020, everybody had to just stay in the relationship for at least another month.
Right. And she like went and like stayed with her family. And I'm like, why does my friend need to give up the apartment when you can go stay with your family and my
Right.
friend doesn't have that option? So what I told her is that she should, right before she hands the keys back over, she should take a massive dump in the toilet and not flush it.
Great.
So I would say, should you go to this man's house and visit him, you should encourage everyone to not flush and to blow up each individual bathroom.
Everybody get as sick as humanly possible.
Go and house some Taco Bell.
Yes.
Get a cheesy gordita crunch. And then you give him the
Head
problem.
over to Daryl's. Okay, that's a good one.
The second one is glitter.
Oh, or sand.
Glitter never goes away.
Mm-hmm.
You go and you just smear glitter on all of the surfaces of his home. He will be cleaning it out for decades. He will probably die of the microplastics that he ingests as a result of it.
Fill up an envelope with that and mail it to him.
Yeah.
Mail a package. This is great. A box full of sand with a loose bottom.
Don't tempt me with a good time.
He picks this thing up. Life ruined. Any sand, glitter, I think those are two of the anthrax. Anthrax is always an option. Those all feel like a decent petty revenge.
Go find an infected cow. Like in that Benedict Cumberbatch film.
Is that where anthrax comes from? Anthrax. I feel like I know where anthrax... Is anthrax plague?
It's not... like the bubonic plague.
What? Now I'm so curious.
What is anthrax?
Anthrax spores are formed by anthrax bacteria that occur naturally in soil in most parts of the world.
Okay. So just some dirty soil. I feel like glitter is such a good way to just kind of... you could even just dump it in his car. There's so many ways to get glitter into a person's life, and it will never exit.
Yeah, you could also think of this if you want to, because she said, I want to torture him for the rest of his life. So there's all sorts of like fun petty pranks of like saran wrapping his car shut.
Right.
Right when you know that he's gonna he's running late for work. If you can find a way to saran wrap his car and then ensure that he's running late for work, and then he has a saran wrap car, and once he gets in, steering wheel covered in glitter. Right? Just like make it like a fun thing you do with your family every 6 months. Or like for the holidays, like for the holidays, we're going to plan a new prank to prank Uncle Frank. Because it could be a great way to bring the family back together.
Of course. You have a common enemy at this point.
What more do you need?
That should just there should be like almost a chore chart that every year one member of the family gets to destroy this guy's life.
Yeah.
And I said mail. I feel like sell his address.
Oh, yeah.
Or email address.
Oh, you could give his address and phone number to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Former member sitting right here.
Yeah, I can tell.
What gave it away?
And then, send some nice missionaries over to his home.
Right.
You could do the same with Scientology.
Scientology's a brutal one. Those people will not leave you alone, and they don't pick up social cues. I'll say that.
No.
And Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yes. Though Jehovah's Witnesses, I feel like, are a little more mild.
You think so? The ones in my neighborhood have been relentless recently.
Really?
Uh-huh.
I feel like
it's hard because they're like nice, but I'm like, just leave me alone. I'm not interested, please.
This is why we have a locked fence.
This is why I have a door on my home. Get away.
I've only had Jehovah's Witnesses. Like, you'll see them out with, like, a rack of pamphlets on the subway in New York or in a public place. Sometimes they're at LAX, which is another reason to avoid it.
Or at the Americana.
Yes. But they're never, especially, like, I'm holding hands with my husband. They kind of leave us alone.
Of course. I will say, if these people come to your door, be nice to them. I'm a former missionary, and it's a miserable experience.
Where did you serve?
I was in East Malaysia.
Oh, wow.
I was supposed to be there for 2 years, but was there for 4 or 5 months, I guess. And then
you
nervous
opted out.
breakdown, et cetera, et cetera. But I was there.
Yeah.
And it was horrible.
I'm so sorry you had a horrible experience.
I appreciate that.
There is part of me that sort of loves the Mormon mission culture, because the idea that you take an 18-year-old out of high school and then you go and you teach them how to speak a new language, and you give this like impossible task to them where people are going to be like mean and unkind, and they have to figure it out, and they have to write letters home, and they can't have phones, and they can't call, and all that stuff, that you go and you like give them this experience where they have to like live by meager means and be part of a new culture.
Sure.
And then after that, they get to go to college.
Well, there are ups and downs.
Sure.
It's a little wing clippy, I will say.
Yes.
Because they don't get to read anything but scripture the whole time. And while your brain is forming,
yes,
it's a little tough to be like, you're a child. For the next 2 years, your brain should be.
Well, I'm not saying everyone go be a Mormon missionary.
No, but
I'm
I
saying some
understand
sort of
this.
experience like that where there is an open literature contingency.
Yes.
You can read whatever you want.
I kind
all
of
the
feel
Agatha
like
Christie.
that should be kind of a required thing for every 18-year-old. Something that's just like you leave hometown and experience something slightly more difficult where you're going to learn.
Right, and I obviously like so many people have so many challenging upbringings here in America. I'm thinking more about like suburban white kids.
Private school students.
Exactly. Yes, if you go to private school, you have to go.
Don't get me started on that. But
trust me, I went.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Well, you should be off building houses somewhere.
I shoveled shit on my dad's cattle ranch.
There we go. No, I think that I'm kind of on board with that idea. How did we get to Mormon missionaries from petty revenge? Oh, yes. Send the missionaries to someone's house. Give up somebody's address, phone number. I guess ultimately dox this man.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just the thing is like whatever, 1-800 number you can sign up with just your phone number, and then it just bills your telephone company.
Yeah, sign him up for free karate lessons at one of those. They have those at restaurants, etc.
I was once seeking sort of like nonviolent kind of secret ways to get revenge on someone, and they don't have it anymore, but it used to be that if you went to the Department of Homeland Security, you could sign up anyone's phone number for updates.
Oh.
And so there would be like fire updates, and there would be like, and there's like 120 things, and you could just hit select all, and then the phones would just get constantly spammed with all of these updates, and people had to like change their phone numbers.
Wow.
You can't do it anymore. But that's another thing, is just to go and sign up his phone for all these people who are just going to like call him and text him all the time.
Somebody get in the comments and tell us some of these new things you can sign people up for. I think we should all have that in our back pocket, a way to basically ruin someone's life. Oh, we answered the question perfectly.
Okay, great. I feel like there was a range of ideas.
A range of ideas. A whole, just pick and choose. It's a buffet. However you want to destroy him, do it.
Well, do it, but like do it in like fun ways that don't ultimately hurt people, that just are annoying.
Right. Or watch Kill Bill and kind of follow that formula.
On the advice of my attorney, I refuse to support that idea.
Yeah, I probably do too. I have my beautiful crock pot. I've got my gorgeous cheese.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been unwrapped for a little too long to be effective now. You can already see it's like becoming even more neon on the edges where it's drying out.
Oh, it's off-gassing. Wow. This room is becoming toxic. Look at that. What a product that is. Well, I've got to make some queso. Maybe with a different...
Gotta give it a nice little wiggle.
We'll do one final spank. Wow.
That sounds so naughty. It does sound weirdly sexual.
That is a bizarre thing. That's essentially flesh.
Mm-hmm. It's a great American invention.
Zeke, thank you for the gift. Thank you for being here.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
And listener, the podcast is over. Set the crock pot. Start making yourself some cheese. Do whatever you want. I'm not in charge of you. That's your duty. I'll talk to you soon. I love you. Goodbye.